Testing. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I'm W.Penny, City Manager of Statesboro. I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight for the 2022 State of the City Address. At this time, I would like to call on Pastor Taylor Lewis Guthrie Hartman of First Presbyterian Church of Statesboro to give the invocation.
Will you pray with me? Since the beginning of time, O God, you've formed people to live in community, to endeavor to do this thing called life together. And since the beginning of time, people have gathered to listen, to hear what's happening, to raise questions, to push buttons, to rejoice, and add their voice. At the heart of it, do you hope our intent is yours, O God? That when we talk about paving roads and street signs and potholes, what we're really saying is that we hope to be repairers of the breach, the restorers of streets to live in. That when we talk about businesses and grants and funding, what we're really saying is that we hope that where our treasure is, there might our heart be also. That when we talk about the issues of the day, policies, procedures to prevent, to protect, what we are really saying is that we hope we might heed your only two rules. Love you and love our neighbor. For we are your hands now, aren't we? Your feet too. Your eyes with which you look compassion on your people, your hands which bless all we need. May it be so through us, the people of Statesboro, as we endeavor to do this thing called life together. And may we know that we are not alone, for you are the one who brought us together in this time and this place. And so it is your grace that will sustain us for the days ahead. And all God's people say, Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Hartman. I would now like to call on the Statesboro High School Junior JROTC Color Guard to present the flags, followed by a performance of the national anthem by members of the Statesboro High School Chorus. All rise.
White, face, forward, march. Home left, march. Colors, bolt, left face, present arm.
Oh, say, can you see?
Order. Arms. Right. Face. Forward. March.
You may be seated. Since we are on Facebook Live, we'd just like to take this opportunity to recognize the young people that were in the Honor Guard, the Color Guard, Captain Grayson Akins, Captain Perry Hattaway, First Lieutenant Nick Nettles, and First Lieutenant Phat, the Army ROT instructors, First Sergeant David Redwine. The young ladies that sang the national anthem, Katherine Griffis, TaShonna Curry, and Chance Holman. The chorus director is Sergio Arga. Let's give them a round of applause. Next order of business is just a little recognition. And what we'd like to do is recognize any elected officials that are in the audience. So at this point in time, we'd ask all elected officials to please stand and be recognized. Thank you. We have county commissioners, we have council members, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you for being here. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for joining us this evening. At this time, I would like to call on Ms. Kayla Dunn, undergraduate intern to the mayor of Statesboro. Kayla.
Good evening. I am Kayla Dunn, and I have served as Mayor McCollar's undergraduate intern since August of 2021. I'm currently working toward a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and Criminology at Georgia Southern University. During my time as an intern, I had the privilege to conduct research on a local and regional scale to identify potential opportunities for new youth programs in Statesboro, specifically programs that would teach life skills and workforce development. As a part of my research, I worked with the City of Statesboro Youth Commission and other local youth advocates. One area of improvement that was identified during my research was the need for mentoring programs, including peer-to-peer, one-on-one, and group mentoring for our local youth. It is my hope that the research I conducted on behalf of the mayor will be used as groundwork for future youth programs in the City of Statesboro. I also had the opportunity to support city staff through event planning, logistics, and the day of execution. This included the city-sponsored vaccine clinics, employee events, and more. I could go on about the knowledge I gained during my time and talk about a lot of the exciting projects the City of Statesboro has coming up, but I don't want to take the mayor's thunder. In closing, it has been a privilege to work with the mayor and learn more about local government and its processes. More specifically, the positive impact that the elected officials and city staff are able to make. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Statesboro's Mayor, Jonathan McCollar.
Good evening. I'm going to ask you guys tonight to bear with me just a little bit. This past Thursday, I attended the Statesboro High Boys Basketball Region Championship. And in the midst of that game, if you guys missed it, it was a heck of a game. We pulled it out with a last-second layup. And I think I began to lose my voice then. Then we traveled up to Memphis for my son's AAU tournament, And we had 4 games there, and I just hope nobody videotaped me while I was there, because I was extremely into the games. And mind you, these are 7th graders, so if you will, bear with me just a little bit tonight. I want to start out by thanking everyone for coming out tonight. It is a tremendous honor for you to take the time out and spend it with me tonight to discuss some of the things that we have going on in the city. I want to first bring you greetings on behalf of the city's mayor and council and the city in its entirety. I want to say a special thank you to the men and women of the city of Statesboro that make the progress that we see in our city possible. We know that we are all better because of the work that they do. I want to also thank all of you for joining us this evening that's on Facebook Live. We know that we wish that you could be here, but you chiming in tonight is more than appreciated. I want to thank the Board of Education members, Superintendent Charles Wilson, and Statesboro High School Principal Keith Wright for allowing us to convene this evening within the corridors of my beloved alma mater, where we all understand that once you were a Blue Devil, you are always a Blue Devil. I want to thank the Statesboro High JROTC for presenting the colors tonight and that magnificent chorus rendition of our national anthem. Let's give those young people a round of applause. Pastor Taylor, I can't say enough about your ability to remind us of the beauty of God's words in your prayer, as it was thoughtful, provoking, and enduring as usual. And Ms. Kayla, thank you for your introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess you can see why we kept her around, because she's extremely sharp, extremely articulate, and one thing Kayla didn't mention is that she is aspiring to become an attorney. And I have no doubt in my mind that one day we will be referring to you as Attorney Dunn. So let's give them all a round of applause. I know that we've recognized elected officials, but I want to also thank those pastors that's in attendance tonight. I want to also thank the leaders of local organizations that's in here tonight, as well as acknowledging the unsung heroes of our city and our greater community that do the work behind the scenes that really make our community what it is. So if we will, let's give all of those folks a round of applause as well. Having the opportunity to serve as my beloved city's mayor is the honor of a lifetime, and I am beyond thankful. If you had asked me as a child if I could ever have seen myself in this role, my answer probably would have been no. But I am thankful for the destiny that God had set out before me, though it was unwittingly to myself. 4.5 years ago, when we were campaigning for this office, we laid out a very ambitious plan to address some very tough issues that our community were facing and is still facing today. And being the worker bees that we wanted to be within the community, we took a head start on these matters and formulated a transition team that worked with city staff to get a better understanding of what were some of the current priorities of the city and how we were going to be able to merge the visions to take what was going to be the best of all of those things for the city and for the greater community. It was during this process that we realized that there was a major difference in the visions. It was our belief that this office and the city was an organization that could be used for more than just the proverbial digging of ditches and filling of potholes. It was our belief that if the city was going to meet its greatest potential, whatever that may be, then it must be willing to begin to make the great investments into the people that it serves. The catalyst behind this thought process was simple. We understood that poverty was the greatest issue that we were facing within our community. This insatiable cancer was quietly affecting many aspects of our daily lives. Over time, we watched as many of our older neighborhoods began to decline, and our newspaper ran story after story of young people getting into types of trouble that were seemingly foreign to this community. We normalized our outdated parts and even gave excuses as to why we should not invest into their return to glory. Poverty was normalizing a behavior pattern within the community that was leaving far too many people behind, and the only way we knew to address this matter was to engage it head on and to be extremely intentional about our actions. The transition team began to work diligently to get prepared to address this issue on day one, but was given a great opportunity when the TSPOS negotiations between the city and the county came to a standstill. What we understood about addressing the matter of poverty is that you cannot lift any people out of poverty without jobs, and good paying jobs do not come unless there is a strong infrastructure system that can support their needs. Suffice it to say that in the early days of our administration, we worked with the county to iron out all the details of this matter and arrive to a solution that allowed us to meet the needs of the city of Statesboro as well as the needs of those that live in the county as well. As a result of this action, we have seen historic investment into the infrastructure of this city and county. As you travel across the city, it is not uncommon to see orange barrels and men at work preparing our streets and draining systems. We were even able to utilize some of these funds to build a bridge across the Edgewood Park Lake so that children and their families alike can enjoy a gentle walk across that beautiful lake. Having the opportunity to work with the county in the negotiations of this deal also provided the city with an additional opportunity. It was clear to us that the city had reached a point where having a public transportation system would be a great asset to moving our economy forward. So in this pact, we were able to add the necessary funding for a public transportation system. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a point of pride for the city of Statesboro, as this effort will contribute to a giant leap forward in our ability to remain on a trajectory that reinforces sustainable economic growth while being completely funded for the first year. This means that the buses, the drivers, and the necessary infrastructure will all be at no cost to the city of Statesboro and its citizens. I can't help but think on the words of Pastor Wayne Williams, where he says that if you do it right, God will bless it right. And Statesboro, this is a tremendous blessing for the city, as it not only allows for folks to be able to move around our city, but creates a new economic corridor where businesses that may have gone unnoticed will soon be recognized by new customers and will have new service at their door. The investments that we are making into the infrastructure of this city is working to serve a purpose for today, but it is also ensuring that those that come behind us have the necessary investments to attract businesses and industries that are going to pay higher wages and improve the overall quality of life for those that call the city and this greater community home. In the role of government, progress is a team sport. The passage of the TSPOS and subsequently the SPLOS are examples of where the city government and the county government came together to ensure that we are doing our parts to continue to move the city and its greater community forward. As a result, the people are seeing direct investments into their neighborhoods, their parks, the downtown, and business sectors. Sidewalks are being built in neighborhoods that had gone underserved for decades. Roads are being repaved after decades of decay, and our parks, which were once relics of yesteryear, are now state-of-the-art facilities with free Wi-Fi access and security cameras. As we drive through our older neighborhoods, we can now hear, once again, the sound of our children at play. It has been the willingness of the governing bodies working together to build a strong infrastructure that we have seen the creation of new tasks, which has resulted in more business growth in the downtown area, as well as the Publix and Tormenta FC projects. Not only that, through a collaborative effort, the city, the county, the development authority, and state partners were able to close the deal on a project that had been left open since 2015. This past Thursday, the announcement was made that Aspen Air Jail will be building a $325 million manufacturing plant in our industrial park. This great fortune will create 250 great paying manufacturing jobs for the people that call our community home, and will be another tremendous tool in our efforts to move our community forward. I am one that is of the thought that we must be very intentional about all that we do. When I was sworn in to office a little over 4 years ago, I understood that we as a community had a lot of work to do as it related to us becoming a more inclusive community. So early in this administration, we worked to establish the One Borough Commission. The reasons that we believed that this was important to establish this commission was twofold. The first lies in the fact that God's genius lies in our diversity. And I fundamentally believe that we are all designed the way that we are so that we all can make unique contributions to the greater universe and our global society. None of us had anything to do with the hue of our skin, the regions that we were born, or who we were designed to love. However, what we do have control over is simply how do we treat each other. Secondly, being inclusive simply makes economic sense. We are seeing a mass transformation. We are seeing a mass transformation of the American workforce, and the communities that will prosper in the future are the ones that are preparing for it today. The way that we plan before ourselves as a community is the way that we will understand how we will be able to attract the future taxpayers, the future tax base, which is our Gen Z young people and our millennials. This is a population of people that want to live in areas that are aligned with their beliefs and lifestyle aspirations before going to a place for a job. In years past, we were taught to choose our locations based on job opportunities, whereas these young people are changing the day-to-day work environment in a large mass of them are choosing to work from home. These newer generations are choosing to work, live, and play in communities that have strong broadband connections, unique business opportunities, advanced social infrastructure, inclusive communities that have great food experiences, and unique entertainment opportunities. It is with this understanding that the One Borough Commissioner has been tasked with the mission to act as a facilitated listening body that works to get a good understanding of what is happening in our community as well as our global village. As a result of this work, this body has created a strategic plan regarding how it moves forward, conducted facilitated listening sessions across the city, worked to pass an equity package, and is now working to keep our community safe by establishing a violence prevention task force. Ladies and gentlemen, the hard-working people of this body have been working diligently to ensure that the quality of life for all of those that call this community home is lifted. Continuing to recognize that the future of the city rests in our ability to attract newer generation, it is now time for us to make the necessary investments into our downtown, Blue Mile, and Creek projects. The city of Statesboro recently adopted a downtown master plan. In this plan, it lays out the vision of a vibrant downtown with increased housing opportunities, retail spaces, and great spots for food and entertainment. This plan also calls for a venue in our downtown that will help attract more people to the area. The city is working diligently with citizens and the DSDA and the Blue Mile Foundation as we work to improve our downtown area. This is evidenced in the number of new businesses opening in our downtown area and the revitalization of historic homes in our downtown districts. And thanks to the DSDA and Homes for Heroes and the initiatives by the Henley Foundation, we're seeing old, once dilapidated properties become opportunities for downtown living for our citizens as well as our men and women in public service. In February of 2018, a little more than a month after being sworn in, I was invited to be a part of a presentation that outlined a transformative project that would send our city on an even higher trajectory. On this evening, I was introduced to the creek on the Blue Mile project. This project reimagined a small waterway that runs from east of Memorial Park to west of South Main Street. In this reimagined area, we will be able to create a linear park with a controlled stream running through the center of the development with retail shops and restaurants and housing along the sides. This will provide the city with a new business district and reinforces the city's social infrastructure while removing 13 acres of land out of a flood zone. Ladies and gentlemen, this is smart engineering. The economic impact of this project is estimated to be about $80 million and will create 647 new jobs in the first 2 years of this development that's connected to its build. Statesboro, this is a legacy project that will work to support the economy for generations to come while giving our beloved city the competitive edge it needs to compete in this growing global economy. As we know that a great place to visit is always a great place to live. Whenever projects like these come up, there is undoubtedly the question of the displacement of the community's most vulnerable population. This is a conversation that has not been missed on the city of Statesboro. From day one, there has been a clear commitment to fight the ills of poverty while working to protect and aid the people in their fight for upward mobility. So in 2019, the city applied to become a part of the Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. This is a program that focuses on revitalizing neighborhoods, the creation of workforce housing, and home ownership. In the city of Statesboro's first attempt to get into the program, we were inducted into the 2020 cohort for the GET program. Prior to being inducted into this program, the GET team did a window survey of the neighborhoods that had seen the most deterioration over the years. And what we found was that nearly 200 dilapidated or deteriorated properties were located in and around our GET communities. When we address the matter of removing the dilapidated properties within our community, we must understand that we are working to improve the public safety and the overall public health of our community. It is our commitment to work for the city in its entirety. The city has been working aggressively to remove the dilapidated properties from our older neighborhoods and hold accountable the owners that have left their properties in disarray. Ladies and gentlemen, there is something morally wrong when our children have normalized playing in neighborhoods with dilapidated properties and unhealthy conditions. In our push to revitalize our older neighborhoods, it is not missed on us that we are living during a time where we are seeing an often fluctuating economy. In the past 2 years, COVID-19 has scarred the most economically challenged people in our community, as well as those that believe themselves to be solidly in the middle class. So it was with that understanding that the city is launching a $5 million initiative that will work to repair the homes of not only those that have been identified in the GET community, but across the city in its entirety. In addition, the city is adding another $6 million in infrastructure that will modernize sewer systems in several of our older neighborhoods and bring them online to the city's modern system. Now, some of you may be sitting there saying to yourself, well, Mayor, I like the things that you're saying, and we have done some great things, but where are you going with this? Earlier in my remarks, I spoke about the importance of building out infrastructure and how it attracts development and good paying jobs that are a key part to the improvement of the quality of life for the people that call our community home. I went on to tell you that we must also work to build the social and equitable infrastructure that is so important to the future tax base of this nation. I have also given you the framework of why it is important for us to make the necessary investments into our downtown, our Blue Mile, and the creek on the Blue Mile, as well as our older neighborhoods. Statesboro, those of us that are here today that are in decision-making roles, we must behave much like the old men that plant trees for shade that they will never be able to sit in. We must work diligently to build a Statesboro that we will surely never see. And this work cannot be done if we are not willing to build the infrastructure that is needed tomorrow, today. Statesboro, if we are truly going to work to build a better day for the future of this city, then there is one key investment that we must make, and that is into our young people. Statesboro, all of the work, the effort, and the money that we're putting into building our city out for the future is all for naught if we are not being intentional about investing into our young people's future. Our children are being born into an ever-changing, technologically advanced society that is redefining the norms of the global workforce and is presenting before unimaginable entrepreneurial opportunities. This new market is creating millionaires every day via coding opportunities, social media marketing, cryptocurrency, green energies, and social enterprises. We are seeing new markets be created on a regular basis that will redefine the future of not only our city, but our nation. If we are looking to really position ourselves into a space where we can truly control our own destiny, then we must rethink how we need to engage our young people and work to ensure that we will not leave any of them behind. This means that we need to create children's zones for our most vulnerable neighborhoods and provide the support services that they need in order to improve their chances of success. This means that the creation of community learning centers that work to provide educational support for our children and give them opportunities for the parents of the students that may have dropped out of school so that they too can earn their diplomas. How powerful would that be for a child to sit side by side with a parent that failed to graduate and they work to earn their diploma together? Ladies and gentlemen, as a community, we must work to improve the literacy rates of our kids in K through third grade and provide workforce opportunities for our middle school and high school students. It is time for us to develop a comprehensive youth mentorship initiative that aids our young people to receive not only the necessary guidance to success, but allows them the opportunity to be exposed to work, to jobs that they may never have been aware of. Statesboro, it is time for us to stand in the gap for our young people. Because what we have found is that if we don't stand in the gap for our young people, someone else will. In and around 2006, then Chief of Police Stan York, Dr. Sharon Tracy, Superintendent Jesse Stricker, and Karen Manahan held a forum in regards to the newfound phenomenon of gang activity within our community. I was asked to be a part of that discussion because I was overseeing the alternative education program for the county at that time. All of the things that were discussed that evening, the thing that stands out the most to me are the words of Dr. Sharon Tracy. She, being an expert on the subject matter, she advised that we were dealing with hybrid gangs, and these were gangs that was made up of local kids that we knew. But the warning that she gave us was that it was only going to be a matter of time before the arrival of the gangs with national affiliation. Those words, spoken 16 years ago, could not have reigned any truer today. In this very school that we are in, and in many of the schools across our community, we have young people that have chosen to get involved with gangs such as the Bloods and Gangster Disciples. It is via these affiliations that we are seeing the disturbing of the educational environment as well as our communities. And whenever any of these incidents happens, fingers are unfairly pointed at the schools, their teachers, and their administrators. Fingers are unfairly pointed at local law enforcement and even the young people themselves. Statesboro, the fate of our young people is not solely a Board of Education responsibility. It is not solely our law enforcement's responsibility. It is not solely a city of Statesboro responsibility. It is an all of us responsibility. It is up to us that as we understand that the future of our community is directly connected to the fate of our children. So the pressing question in this moment is whether we will answer the call. 16 years ago, we did not. In 2022, that answer still remains to be. Ladies and gentlemen, we need our churches, our governing bodies, nonprofit organizations, institutions of higher education, civic organizations, and citizenry to be willing to stand in the gap and fight to save our young people. Statesboro, fighting to save our young people is directly connected to the public safety of our community. In this divisive era of politics, the American people are overwhelmed with rhetoric-filled, solutionless politicians and news pundits that have normalized sending our men and women in blue into dangerous neighborhoods and environments that have been created by their failed policies. Ladies and gentlemen, let it be understood in this space. Your mayor loves and adores the Statesboro Police Department. There is no resource beyond reason that we are not going to work to make sure they have. We've improved their health care. We've raised their pay scale. And we've improved the equipment and training that they have. But this is what I want the entire city to to understand abundantly about your mayor. I love our police department, but I hate the failed policies of these rhetoric-filled, solutionless politicians that have created the environments that our men and women in blue go into every day. They find it much easier to spend millions on armored vests, armored vehicles, and the sword instead of addressing the real issues that's caused the conditions in which the people are living. And those real issues revolve in and around their failed policies. We are suffering because their egos are so large that they refuse to acknowledge that they've made a mistake. Statesboro, we are a special place with special people, and we must dedicate ourselves to moving our city forward in its entirety. We cannot continue to lean on those policies that have normalized the school to prison pipeline, and it's the politicians that ran through our communities that's sowing seeds of divisions, yet can't name the policies that they have passed to move our community forward. It must be the vision of our community that every child that calls our city home must return home to a safe, healthy, and economically sound neighborhood. Statesboro, I always reflect on the words of Rosalind Carter. Rosalind Carter said, "Good leadership takes you where you want to go. But great leadership takes you not necessarily where you want to go, but where you ought to be. Statesboro, I'm planning to take us to where we ought to be. Thank you.
I think you can give the mayor another round of applause. Thank you for coming tonight. What we'd like to do is invite everyone here to join us in the lobby of this high school for a reception. And that concludes this event. Thank you, Statesboro High School, and thank you, Mayor. Please join us at the reception.